What is going on, guys? It is Jesse from Kings of Kong Gaming, and today, guys, I'm going to give my best free-to-play Hutao DPS build that I have of as right now. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Before we get started, please like and subscribe. We continue to put out Genshin and retro videos almost every single day and stream every Thursday at 7:30 Central, and we'd love to see you guys there. Now, let's go ahead and get started with the artifacts, okay? To start off with the artifacts, we want a Crimson Witch of Flame set. However, if you don't have that and you're like, well, I got all these other sets, but I don't have that one. Lava Walker works perfectly fine as well. I've seen a lot of people post the videos on a 4-piece Lava Walker set, and it seems to be pretty good. I've tested out very little, and it's okay. I still think Crimson Witch of Flame is probably the best. And then your third alternative is a 2-piece Crimson Witch and a 2-piece Noblesse Oblige, which also works very well. But do what you think is best. Personally, I think Crimson Witch of Flame. Now let's go ahead and talk about our main stats. Your main stat for your flower is obviously going to be HP, attack, feather, and this is one that's a little different. Normally when you have characters that scale off of like HP or defense or whatever, having an attack sans here is still normally better. However, with the way that Hutao is built, the HP sans seems to be her best bet. However, if you do have an attack sans, that works fine too. I have found that it's very little to almost no damage drop off, and I've seen a lot of other people use it and it to be perfectly fine as well. So do what you feel like is needed. A pyro damage cup and a crit damage circlet. However, if you have a lot of crit rate, if you have a lot of crit damage already and you feel like you need more crit rate, then obviously change this out with a crit rate helmet. Now for your substats. So your substats go in order of, you want crit damage or crit rate as your number one. That's the one thing you should be looking out for the most. And then your second is attack / HP. Now I give it slash because they both coincide kind of with one another. If you have a lot of attack, then it'll help out with your damage. Same thing if you have a lot of HP, it'll help out with your damage. So either one is perfectly fine. But yes, that is what you want to look out for. And for your third, some elemental mastery or elemental recharge. And those kind of also coincide at this moment. They're both equally as important. That being said, here are my attributes. For the crit rate, we've always talked about this of being a 1-to-2 ratio. For every 2 crit damage, you want 1 crit rate. However, as I've said a million times, I feel like that is almost impossible. So again, my rule of thumb is at least 60-65% crit rate, somewhere in there. And then for your crit damage, kind of differs between character to character. I feel like for Hutao, a good stance is about 170% crit rate, 160% at the low end, with the high end being like 225, 230, which sounds ridiculous, and it is, but people are hitting some pretty crazy numbers with that. And yes, this is easily obtainable. A lot of people I've watched have been like, well, Jesse, crit damage at 172, that's ridiculous. Yes, most of my stuff rolled into crit damage. However, she scales off of crit damage. She literally goes, like, as you level her up, her crit damage massively increases. As you can see here, my next upgrade will be at 182%, which is a 10% increase almost. So yes, I do think that 172% is fairly easy. Okay, now let's talk about weapons. Okay, so again, this is a free-to-play build. However, there's a lot of free-to-play people that got Staff of Homa. So let's talk about that for a second. Staff of Homa is the best weapon, obviously, on Hutao. Yes, you need to put that on her if you can. Also, I've also heard Primordial Jade Spear works very well for her too, and I definitely recommend using that. I haven't tested it out myself, so I can't say anything. Well, actually, I've tested it out a little bit. Haven't seen a lot of difference, but a lot of people have been saying it's very good. But personally, I'm running Deathmatch. Now, yes, I understand this is not a free-to-play weapon. However, a lot of people that deem themselves as free-to-play do buy this battle pass. So I do think Deathmatch is the best with that crit rate substat, and that Gladiator as your refinement. However, if you don't have this, Blackcliff Pole is in the shop right now, and go for it. Grab it, okay? It is right now, I think, at 24. It's 24 star glitter, and you got 22 days to grab this. So this is the weapon that I recommend as well. And if you do grab this, because it is a, gosh dang it, because it is a crit damage substat, I recommend running a crit rate hat instead, okay? Now, that being said, for your 3 stars, if you're like, I don't have any of these, there's a bunch of other weapons you can look at. I don't recommend Crescent Pike or Dragon Spine, but I believe Prototype Star Glitter is pretty okay. Don't quote me on that, but I'll do more research, and if you have any questions, just let me know down below, and I'll answer them. But if you need a 3-star, White Tassel works great, and so does Black Tassel. Both of these are perfectly fine. I still recommend White Tassel over Black Tassel, but either one will work out for you. Now, let's talk about constellations for a second. Okay, almost everybody and their mother is saying you need C1 to have a good Hutao. That's bull crap. That's straight up blue hockey and then some, okay? You don't need the C1. Yes, charge attacks are very important on her, but you can still normal attack and do a crap ton of damage, so there's no reason to have this there unless you just really want it, okay? It's perfectly fine. You don't need it. So C0 Hutao is perfectly viable, okay? Talents. Okay. So the talent that you need the most is Guide to Afterlife, okay? This is going to increase everything about your character, about Hutao, her whole damage, everything, okay? This is the set that this is the talent that you need leveled up the most first, okay? Along with Guide to Afterlife, normal attack is your second most important. So if you're leveling this up twice, level this up once, or twice and twice. It don't matter. Either way, these two need to be leveled up together, just about. Okay, and then your final one is obviously Spirit Soother. However, this right here is going to be doing your most amount of damage, and either way, you need them, all 3 of them at least, to level 6 as fast as you possibly can to make this character super, super viable. Okay? Okay. So, now, all that being said, let's talk about team comps, okay? So, for your team comps, let's talk about this, okay? A lot of people are not running team comps correctly with her. So, Hutao's your main damage dealer, right? You need a sub DPS. This sub DPS, because she's a pyro element, you need to have your sub DPS either A, procking Vaporize, or B, procking Melt, okay? So, the best character with Hutao right now is probably Xingqiu, okay? Now, I understand there's a lot of people that don't have Xingqiu, okay? This game's been out for a while, but I still get that. Kaya is a great option as well. Everybody has Kaya. Kaya's awesome. Kaya's better than what people put him out to be. Build him on a Blizzard Strayer, and you're good to go. He's a great sub DPS. Pop Triangle, pop his ult, freaking go ham with Hutao, okay? That works perfectly fine. It's a great build. Do that, okay? That's also your second best option. And if you're like, well, I hate Kaya, Chongyun works as well, okay? Now, also Mona. Mona works as well if you really just want to do a little bit different for a 5-star. However, I do think that Xingqiu is still better than Mona. Okay, your second character. Now, there's many different ways you can build for the second character. However, I recommend doing another sub DPS, okay? So another sub DPS would be another character that can proc, again, Melt, Overload, whatever that case is. So the second character, again, I'm going to recommend Beidou. I'm going to recommend Kaya, again, Chongyun, Xingqiu, Mona, Fischl. The list goes on and on, okay? And then for your final one, don't look at my Bennett. That was not supposed to be on there. Zhongli's the one I recommend the most. But again, he's a 5-star. I understand a lot of people don't have 5 stars, so let's talk about that. Okay, so if you're running a Xingqiu, let's talk about that too. Make sure you have a Xingqiu. So we're running a Xingqiu on this team, okay? Zhongli is perfectly fine. Diona is perfectly fine. I've seen people run Noelle. I don't know if that works, but apparently it does. So I'm gonna say Noelle's perfectly fine. So on and so forth, okay? Oh, also, forgot to mention, right here, Zhongling is a great one as well because it gives you that elemental resonance and will continuously proc fire that Pyro Tornado. So Xingling works too. But in this section, yes, a character that defends your main DPS is what I recommend to be the most for Hutao, the most important. because Hutao with that R2 literally hurts herself to a fairly high degree. As you can see here, I'm at 3,400, but when I pop my R2, I just dropped 1,000 health. Now that the more health you have, the more you're gonna drop. So I think when I'm at 2,700, or 27,000, I am actually dropping almost 10k. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that is around the same number. And as you can see, like I've still dropped almost 1,000 every single go. So yes, I do recommend a Zhongli to somebody to just help you not take that damage. Okay, now let's say you're like, well, I don't have a Xingqiu, but I have those two other damage dealers, okay? Then this character slot right here changes immensely, okay? You need to have a healer, all right? So if you have Diona, that's perfectly fine. That's who I would recommend as being your number one most important character then there, and you're good to go. You're set. That's it. Your build's done. You can click off this video. However, if you don't, your next best is probably Chi-Chi. Chi-Chi does a fairly decent amount of heals, and she's not, like, crazy with how much she can heal, but it's enough to get your Hutao healthy again and still not doing enough heals to like take you away from getting that massive damage boost from how little health that Hutao needs. Now, a lot of people are like, well, what about Bennett? Bennett gives you that attack boost that you want, right? But he has negative synergy with Hutao because with that attack boost, yeah, that's great, but she gets an attack boost with very little health. So, he's not the best. But if you have nobody else, he kind of works okay. Alright? But if you have Xingqiu, he heals, and with Hutao and Xingqiu, that's a lot of heals, and that's really all you need, are these two characters, okay? But like I said, if you don't, Diona or Chi-Chi works perfectly fine as well. Now, guys, I think that's all I have to say. There's going to be an ending showcase with honestly, my talents here, they probably weren't level 7 or level 6 at the time of the showcases, and you're still going to see some damage numbers of like 60k or something redonkulous, right? But yes, no, I do recommend making these 6. But yes, there will be a showcase at the end, all level 80 with the deathmatch being used. But yeah, guys, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate y'all and the amount of support that we've gotten over these past couple weeks. Thank you guys so much for watching. Remember that we try to put out Genshin and other retro videos out almost every single day, and we want to see you guys in our streams. And let us know what you want us to stream next. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Y'all have a wonderful, wonderful day, and peace out.